Hello, I'm Rick Cutter with Cloud for Utilities, and today we're in conversation with Ram Kasarla from Milestone Utility Services. Thanks for being here, Ram.
Good to see you, Rick, and glad to be on the Digital and Cloud Summit here.
Well, we're glad to have you. Really appreciate it. And I know our audience is looking forward to learning more about your company and the great things y'all are doing in the utility industry. Ram, tell the audience a little bit about your career path leading to Milestone.
I started working in the utilities in 1996, came from India on a work visa, and there you go. They put me on the developing the billing systems there, started working in a company called SCT. That's where I learned the business side of it. I am a programmer by nature. I did my BS in computers. Loved what we're doing in there. Interacted with several utilities on the implementation as well as the development of the modules. This was deregulation then coming up and Y2K coming up. So I had a lot of interaction with utilities, with customers. Then joined IBM, worked as a solutions architect there. While working with IBM, did some major implementations, a couple of them being Vectran and some big utilities where we implemented the CIS systems. And I thought, why not, there was an opportunity or there was a need for these utility industries to provide a niche service. And I said, hey, why not create a small service organization which will support these customers? And that's how I started Milestones around 2002. And, had nobody else, just myself. And that's how we started. Then I started picking up some partners who I trust, who I thought will bring value. From there on, and you know the story, we started as a banner supporting firm. Now we have several products and helping customers all the way from meter to cash. And, had a wonderful journey, learned a lot and worked with so many wonderful people in the utilities in several different sectors.
So Ram, as a follow-up to that, my understanding is, Milestone does services and I think you've got some products as well that you do, but you do work for government, municipal, and investor-owned utilities. You want to expand on that a little bit?
When we started Milestones, Rick, one thing we realized or we started the basis is one solution doesn't work for everyone. Okay, so we have the smallest customer of 30,000 accounts to the largest customer of 7 million accounts. Okay. So what we figured out is, hey, we tailor the services or our implementing strategies based on the customer needs. Okay. One of the things, I'll give you an example, when we implement these digital solutions or capabilities or self-service portals or any of these, and even some of the CIS implementations, we are completely implementing them using the agile methodologies, right? Some of them work, some of the utilities love it. I think there is a great story and success story behind it. But, I can't just go to any utility and talk about an agile methodology saying, yep, we're going to do this in agile methodology. That's an example where how we work with utilities. And not only just we are saying, hey, we are a CIS vendor or an MDM vendor. We do from meter to cash, okay? Not only the services, but we have our own products. Meaning, our mantra is from our products. What are the differentiators? Is hey, we deliver the product, we implement it. 80% of this can be configured by a business user, not even an IT person, right? It makes it easy for implementation, easy for them to maintain it. So that is the huge reason our products has been a very big success in the digital engagement side of it. And we learned, what works in utility sector for a government side of it, what works for an IOU side of it. And again, every utility is a different utility. And our success, I think, is because of how we tailor our services. And we pride on our references. We are 100% referenceable. We become a true partner, right? It's not a vendor. We've been working with companies for the past 20 years, okay? We become a true partner and we have migrated several CIS systems with our clients. We learned and they said, hey, come on in. You used to support my old system. I want you to support the new system. So that's a story, a big thing which we are proud about Milestones and what we do.
I tell you, being a project management guy myself, I've always liked your name, Milestone. It just really kind of cuts to the chase of what you got to do of achieving things on time.
Yeah. And Rick, there was a funny story, when we started the company and I was going to a CIO to talk about Milestones, and the guy who was developing the website said, what's your slogan? And it was 2:00 in the night, and I said, are we there yet? And that was our slogan. So that's how we came up with Milestones, and the slogan was, are you there yet?
Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's a good story.
Yeah.
Ram, you've been around this industry for, good Lord, over 25 years, I would guess. Why do you think utilities have not moved to adopt cloud technologies a little bit faster?
Yeah, very good question, Rick. And as you know, utilities in general are late adapters of technology. They are very risk averse and really don't want to be an early adapters. And they don't want to rush into the unproven territories, take risk, and put their customers at risk. That's a broad reason, meaning we have seen this for years. But utilities also have great responsibility and been governed by these PUCs and getting approvals and all, meaning nobody knew much about this, meaning who should approve? Is it a PUC should approve it? Or that's one factor. The other major factor, what I think is, if I'm an IOU, OPEX versus CAPEX, and it's like, how does that work? How do I capitalize the which part of it? How do I do a rate recovery? So that is another area which stopped or slowed down why utilities, did not migrate to cloud or think about it, in there. And the other aspect of it is cybersecurity. Became a huge issue, and it's becoming an issue much bigger every day, so which is stopping them saying, hey, what happens when I move to cloud? And I think the other big issue there is, these utilities, if they go to SaaS model, and are we going to keep up with 4 versions of, the software upgrades every year, because they got to keep up with it. And I think these are several reasons why a utility did not migrate or didn't go into the cloud side of it. I see more and more the government and munis are adopting much quicker because they don't need to worry much about CapEx versus OpEx side of it. I think these are several reasons why utilities I said, hey, we want to see what's going on. And the other thing is, Rick, the knowledge or the information these guys have, utilities have, is people start throwing jargons at SaaS, PaaS, infrastructure as a service, and this guy's saying, what model is better for me? And now I know they're moving towards it, but I think these are the reasons why utilities didn't jump into this before.
All great points. And I love the point you made of there's not one size fits all. Cloud, sort of a broad term with segmented components of it. But it looks to me like, I think, with the challenges we had the last, year plus with this pandemic, the types of technologies for digital engagement are rapidly advancing, even in our utility sector. So that's some good news. But why cloud and why now? I think that's the next question for you.
Yeah, a very good question, Rick. And it's kind of a Y2K rush, right? We were there and we got to do something, but what do? You knew it was coming, but most were not prepared, right? But that's a starting point. Everybody's doing it. And the utilities they see one utility doing it, the other ones want to go do it, follow their path and move forward. The other part about this is maintaining these mission critical applications has become more and more tedious, and the technology has grown so much. But on the other hand, it's become a complex thing to maintain this. Previously, we used to have a mainframe, one server, maintain it, it used to go. Now you have multiple components, and also it's become a big task for these guys to maintain. Backup and recovery, I think that became a bigger challenge nowadays. So they said, hey, the move to cloud, and it's much easier, and they have much more capabilities than a data center within the utility there. Security, I talked about security concerns, but I think utilities are realizing the big hosting vendors like AWS has much more secure environment using a VPN tunnels than their own data center side of it. Okay. And the technology rate was not a big factor for a utility at one point. But now if you look at mergers and acquisitions, the technology has become such a big factor when somebody wants to buy a system, right? The CIO's been involved in day one. So with the importance of technology and fast moving rules and regulations, the only option they see the utilities doing now is, I got to jump on the cloud, right? And they are saying, hey, I need to be focusing on and maintaining these applications, and I must innovate on the run. Meaning that's what they're doing right now.
Go into a little more detail. What do you mean by innovate on the run?
A good question, Rick. And as you know, meaning when we implemented the CIS systems, we spent so much money implementing, utilities spent so much money implementing these systems and customizing these systems. And it has become a nightmare to upgrade the system to a new one because they lagged several versions behind, right? And then to upgrade a heavily customized system to the newer version costs almost the same money as the initial implementation. So I think the utilities, when I say innovate in the run, what they're doing right now is, hey, let's get out of this customization thought process. Let's talk about out of the box SaaS model so that it's easy to maintain, easy to migrate, easy to upgrade. And while doing that, when I say innovate of the run, what we are doing right now is with minimal disruption to business, right? How can we help the utilities overhaul their technology? How do we transform them? And how do they realize the value faster? I think, Rick, you are the best person to decide. Tell me this, but previously we used to take 4 years to implement a CIS system. Now, if you say anything more than 12 months, maybe they'll say, what are you talking about? And as you know, Milestone is a services company that's been supporting utilities for over 20 years. And we help utilities innovate in the run, maintain their applications, bring digital capabilities, and expand CIS customer capabilities. And customer integration and the edge capabilities have become such a key factor, Rick, in the utility sector as of today. That's what we mean, innovate on the run.
You just hit on something else. What are some of the edge capabilities and how do they apply to utilities?
Yeah, very, very good question, Rick. And, 4 years back, 5 years back, if a customer can just log in and pay their bill, I think that's more than enough. That was the interaction between a customer and a utility. Right now, the other side of the technology, if you look beyond utility sector, is leaps and bounds, ahead of us. And what I mean by the edge capabilities is, bringing chatbots, bringing artificial intelligence, bringing the 100% reliable, customer self-service channels, omni channels where a customer can interact with a utility, right? And it's become, conservation has become a big deal. Encouraging the customers to do the things what a CSR would do has become, so the edge capabilities, if you ask me, the way a customer can interact with a utility, irrespective of a device or anything independently, can he pay a bill on a phone? Can he pay a bill with a text message? Can he talk to Alexa? Gartner is saying the next generation is voice first, right? The technology is changing so fast. So, meaning, you and me may not use Alexa, but all the kids and the younger generation, they want to pay the bill with Alexa. And it's been done in other utilities, other sectors, 2-3 years before this. So that's what we are bringing these capabilities. You still keep the CIS system, don't spend $200-300 million, but we bring all these additional capabilities where a customer's impression of a utilities is beyond what you think it will be, rather than just upgrading a CIS system.
Now, Ram, you just accused me of not using Alexa. I just want to clarify. I may be old, but I'm cutting edge, my man.
I know. So I'm up there, but that was just an example, Rick, is how important the technology is.
What are some of the key things you think utilities should consider with edge technologies that are specific to customer?
When customers, again, telling you how utilities work, when one utility does something, the other wants to follow it and make better than that. Now everybody wants to, get these edge capabilities. So what do they need to keep in mind when they're doing? Integration is key, Rick. I don't care what technology you're bringing, your integration with Alexa or your integration with these IVR solutions or self-service. Consider a vendor who has experience with integrating with your big CIS components, like your utility components, like your CIS system, GIS system, asset management system, because I don't care how good the technology is, unless you have the experience integrating with these. It's a big aspect I think utilities need to consider. Two, there is so many systems now. You got to have a clear definition of saying what is a system of record, okay? And how do we figure out what does what, rather than at one point it becomes so cumbersome, you have 4 different systems doing 4 different things, right? The other aspect of it is, again, you want to call it cloud or digital engagement. Both, I think, goes hand in hand. 5 years back or 6 years back, when you didn't have this complex or advanced self-service solutions, you can bring down your CIS system every 2 hours, every day for maintenance, and nobody cared about it. Now, when your customer is interacting with this utility day and night, you want to have these solutions which can run even the CIS is down, right? Or your corporate website is down. How do you still, a customer can still enter their outage management when there's a hurricane in Miami and my data center is gone, right? Or shut down. This is where I think cloud brings the huge value. So consider, these are the key things, saying who's your cloud vendor, what's your technology, what's the experience these systems or vendors bring integration with the CIS utility components.
Appreciate your time today so much, and thank you for being with us in conversation. And look forward to coming by your virtual booth and seeing some of your products.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you for giving us this opportunity, and thank you for conducting this wonderful summit. I think there was a big gap, and you're hitting it right there and bringing the utilities and the vendors to the forum. I really appreciate you doing this.
Well, thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate you.
Thank you, Rick.